Hey folks, welcome back. So I had some time to spend on my table saw fence and thought I'd shoot you guys a video. So the last video I showed, I was having to put a clamp on this to clamp it in place, my little stop block. And but now I've got it so that it actually has a little knob here that I turn to tighten it. So if you guys haven't seen that video, then I'll just go over this a little more. So it's just, it's just a regular table saw sled. I did make mine fairly long because I wanted to cut off long pieces. And, but the big difference being with mine is the way my table saw is I'm able to use this scale on the side. This is how I set my fence. If I want a piece 18 inches, I'm able to just slide it over and cut it off at 18 inches. And most table saws have a scale built in now that you're able to do that rather than, holding the tape measure up there, which would be no fun. So the difference between mine here is now I'm able to, with this one, I'm able to actually slide this along and, if I want a piece cut 13 inches, well then I'm going to be able to go by the back side of this scale and just line it up and cut it off at 13 inches. You can see I could just set it. Now I'm able to just turn this little dial and tighten it down, and then that'll give me my 13 inches. So the way I made it was pretty simple. If you've seen the last video, I just took this piece off and I just plowed a dado in here and a dado in here, and then in this little stop block I just added a couple of half-inch pieces, and then to make it so that it'll tighten, I just put a bolt in here. I just drilled the hole small enough that I could pound that nut in there, and the same thing in my little knob here on the top. I just drilled it small enough that I could pound that in there and it wouldn't turn inside of itself. And then you can see that this just slides in them tracks, and then wherever I want to set it, when I turn it, it's that nut or that bolt's going to come out and push against that, which would lift it and lock it in place. So it doesn't take very much neither. I'm surprised. It just takes a little wee bit in order to make it tight enough to lock this in place. So the way that I set this up is when I had my sled set up for the first time and ran it through for the first time, well then that told me where 0 was at. So all I had to do is when I made this piece that went over the top, I just had to line it up to 0, just put it right to the edge of the saw curve, and then I just had to slide it out and see where 0 was on this side. Now I'm not at 0. You can see I'm a ways away from it because my knob or my handle here is in the way. But I wanted to have that handle right dead center to make it so it's turned nice or pushed nice and easy. But if I was, if I was to set this an inch away, you can see, then I can come back here and see where an inch was. So I did have this a little bit wider when I first made it. And all I had to do was, once I had it there, I put it over to 0 and then just put a little mark at 0, and then I just trimmed the whole thing all the way around to make it so it's zeroed in. So it's turning out that it's right dead on with my table saw fence now too. So it's nice that, I just did a set of doors and I had to trim them all, and I wanted my drawer fronts to match up, and that's what I trimmed here with my drawer fronts because they were just glued up. And I was able to trim it, and then whatever I wanted, if I wanted the piece 20 inches, I was able to just slide it out to 20 inches, tighten it down, and then just trim it off. So working pretty slick, really. I'm pretty happy with the way this is working. And there's a couple other things I'd like to do to it eventually too, once I get a little bit more time. And I'll shoot you guys another video when I get that done. So hopefully you guys are having fun watching. Hopefully you'll keep tuning in, and I thank you for watching this video.